Standard procedures shown in this video involve working with electrical components. Before attempting any repairs or disassembly on your stand-up mixer, follow these safety precautions. Unplug the mixer. Always disconnect the appliance from power before opening or handling any electrical parts. Discharge any stored electricity. Some components may hold residual charge. Proceed with caution. Use proper tools. Avoid damage and injury by using insulated tools and following proper techniques. Know your limits. If you're unsure or uncomfortable with electrical work, consult a qualified professional. Dub warning. Tampering with electrical components can be dangerous and may void your warranty. I am not responsible for any damage, injury, or consequences resulting from attempting these repairs. Proceed at your own risk. Stay safe and work carefully.
All right, guys, welcome back. It is mixer reassembly time. This is the exciting part where the fruits of our labor come to fruition and we get to start putting this sucker back together. So stay tuned while I go step by step through that process. All right, guys, welcome back. We are reassembling our KitchenAid mixer. It is gorgeous. It's blue. I love it, and it certainly looks a lot better than it did. So first things first is we are going to get this new cord attached. So I'm not sure if you guys remember on when we took this sucker apart, but the first thing we need to do is secure this grounded wire. So green is grounded. G for G, that's a good way to remember. So you're gonna wanna take that and attach it to one of these two, doesn't matter which one. I chose the one that's a little further back. And that essentially grounds your new plug-in, creates an extra element of safety. So next thing we need to do is we've got to attach black with black and white with white. A little hard to tell, I got a bit of spray paint on there. Nevertheless, should be just fine. So you're gonna wanna go to your local hardware store and pick up a couple of these little guys. What this does is on the inside, there's a conductor. So you'll want to sort of twist these, get them all bunched together as much as you can. Put that in here, and you're gonna wanna clamp this down, okay? So this should, let's see here, we'll use that piece right there. So we're gonna clamp it down. Be careful not to actually cut through it. These are a little harder to clamp. Just give it a good pinch, okay? So you want it on there. I give it another pinch here. See if this gives it a bit better of a pinch. Again. Not hard, but a little tedious because it wants to just slide right off of there, as you can see every time I do that. So let's give it a good pinch here, right there. That's the right one. Oh my goodness. All right. Sorry guys. Let's try that again. We will get there eventually. So, a good pinch right here. Again, try not to cut through. Be careful of that, be mindful of that. There we go, good pinch. Okay, so that's pinched on there, and you give it a little tug, not super hard, but now it's secure, okay? So we take the other end, after all my fumbling, and just twist those wires together. Put that in the other side, okay? If it doesn't want to fit in there nicely, give it another little twist. And there we go. Okay, now we gotta pinch the other side. There are different types of connectors, the electrical connectors. Some of them are, you get them hot and they can melt. I I just prefer these. I feel more secure with them. I'm more confident in them, but you can choose to do whatever it is that works best for you. So we'll do that, and then we will connect here on this other side. And then we've got a nice new cable as opposed to that very old ratty one, which was not safe. This beautiful little piece of grounder definitely will help us and will provide that level of safety that we need. So you will go and do the exact same thing here on the other side, hopefully with less fumbling than I did. And from there, we will keep reassembling. All right, stay tuned. Okay, fun part. We have an extremely intricate little piece we need to put back. So actually we have two. We got these two right here, and then eventually we will attach the knob here that kind of goes with the speed. So if you happen to forget how you took this apart, good thing you took a video of it, I hope. So I would suggest anybody who is unsure to definitely videotape themselves. Then that way you know exactly what you did. So what you can do here, we're just gonna slide that into here. As you can see, this mechanism moves down here, and this will turn it on and shut it off. So once it gets to here, we know it's on, and then it varies the speed, okay? And then at that point there, it shuts off. You can see it releases this mechanism, okay? This little piece right here is a little bit fun because there is and hopefully you guys can see this, but there's a very small little hole that it has to weave through. So we want to turn this, and it hooks on right here. Again, it's spring loaded like a slinky, and it's going to attach right here where our speed knob is going to go, okay? So let's get that attached. Okay, so to attach this piece here, this sucker is going to want to be connected on here. And this has to pull through as well. You'll feel some resistance, and that connects in right there. You may have to push a little bit to get it in. There we go. Great. So that's how this works. This is how this moves. Now, what we do need is a screw to secure this so that it doesn't pop off in these inner mechanisms. So screw this in. Wonderful, and now you can see we've got movement here. So that moves through, and it moves through pretty freely. So yeah, I'm happy with that. All right, so we're gonna start putting the gear back together in here. We've got our cord attached, we've got our speed knob here, and it's moving great. So this was one of the guys that was in here, and it just goes in right here. All right, slides in pretty nice and easy. And I am going to put the little side knob right back in, and that's what secures that gear. All right, so tighten that. So that's, as you can see, still spins freely. Okay guys, we've got to put the transmission back. So there's a couple of little pegs here that we're able to just line up and push down. You're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver, and we're going to put the 3 screws back in place. You'll see it's the screws that have the little washer right attached to them. And we will get this reattached. final screw right in there. Okay, there we go. That's step one of putting the motor back together. All right, next part is a little more tedious. We have to sort of Tetris things back into place. So first step is going to be taking this large piece here that was covered in a bunch of terrible grease and getting cleaned up. There we go. Now we've got the transmission. So, and you'll remember this transmission was looking pretty gross before. So we're gonna just get this transmission here lined up. There's a couple of little pegs there, and then you can see, if we turn this, you see the transmission moves. So that's exactly what we want. Now, we've got the little screws. You're gonna look for the ones with the washers. Now I see I got 2 of them. Here's hoping I can find the 3rd. And there it is. You're gonna wanna grab your Phillips head screwdriver, and you're gonna wanna put the 3 screws right back in here. So this is what secures the transmission, and then in turn secures this as well. So just keep that. Get this all screwed in there, nice and tight. Good. Then our last screw. And there we go. And again, as you can see, it's moving really nicely. Once we get lots of food grade grease in here, it's gonna move even better. So stay tuned. We're gonna keep working our way through this. Okay. Okay, now that we've got these gears put back together, I ordered a new one of these since the one I took apart was in pretty rough shape. It's just a bit of cardboard. You know, I think it keeps from the metal banging together when you're using it, just sort of creates a bit of an insulation. The next thing we have to do is you need your flathead screwdriver, and we are going to reattach this little guy. So I don't know if you remember, we took it off. This piece here hooks in right there, and that goes here with our little screw going in here. Yeah. And then we will tighten it. There we go. And see, works nicely, but we do need to attach one little screw right in there as well. So it's just gonna be a little guy. We just gotta find the right one here. So I do believe it's this one. Sorry, bear with me. It is this one right here. And we come at it from this side. I'm gonna turn it so you guys can see. Now, this flathead I've got is probably a little bit too big, but we'll get it in as far as we can, and then I will find a smaller one. So that is going in like this. And try not to do what I did, which is scratch your new beautiful paint job. So go slow, go careful, and just keep going until you get it there. And you will feel it grab on that lever, which is exactly what we want. And it's still got a little ways to go. So yeah, you just keep moving with that and making sure that we're seeing it come through, which it's starting to. And there we go. Requires a little bit of elbow grease. likely gonna need a little bit of a tap in at this point. Yeah, unfortunately I'm not seeing it come through the other side, so we're gonna keep going with this. And just not seeing it move any further. So that's not quite working. We're going to take it out, and then we're going to have a look, and we're going to see if perhaps this is not the correct piece for us. It just might not be. She definitely doesn't want to come back out again, does she? All right. Okay, we got to be making some headway here. All right, we are, thankfully. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to investigate this. And these are things that happen when you're reassembling. We got to make sure that we got the right piece in here. And I'm fairly certain this is. I'm thinking it just wasn't grabbing right. So we're gonna reposition, and I'm gonna have a quick look in. I think what happened is this was sitting in the wrong spot. So what we need is, we need this to go through and grab on the other side. Now, let's see if we can make some better headway here. Again, being very careful and mindful of your absolutely, there we go. Beautiful new paint job. That's right. All right. And a couple more turns. Again, be really careful, guys. And you know what? I'm gonna grab a smaller Phillips head so that I don't scratch my beautiful paint job. Okay. All right, guys, it's the fun time. It's a fun part of the day. We get to grease things up, okay? Now, you want about 4 ounces of food grade grease, okay? That's what it looks like when it's clean, as opposed to the black tar that we saw when we first started. So what's gonna be really important is we need to cover all of these gears with grease, and we need to put a whole bunch all on the inside here as well, okay? So that's what we're gonna do, and that's gonna get rid of that horrible, awful burning smell that we were all smelling that when I first turned this sucker on. So I'm gonna grab a knife, and we're just gonna kind of spread it on like butter. All right, we're gonna be liberal with this grease. We wanna use all of it, okay? So it's important here that we get this into all of the nooks and crannies, okay? So we wanna get this in between the teeth of all of these gears, okay? So really get in there. And don't worry, we are gonna cycle this through, as you can see, and that makes sure it gets in where it needs to, and we get all of that in there. Oh, this mixer's gonna be feeling so much better now that it's got itself some new grease after, well, I don't know, 50, 60 years. So give it a good spin. A little harder to spin there. Grease is really working its way in. Good, there we go. Okay, all in here. Really get this in the gears, you guys. These gears really need it. We want this thing to hum and purr when we start it up. Considering we did some amateur electrical, here's hoping it does start. Okay, and then all on the transmission here, make sure you're get it all over this as well. It's pretty mucky, but it's not nearly as bad as the filthy stuff that we saw earlier. So, go. And if you can, move this through so that we get the grease on all sides. Really important, you guys. This is going to help this mixer work really well. These are unbelievably incredible machines. I'm not sure if anybody makes anything quite like this. It is so sturdy. Now, I'm going to take some more of the grease. We've got this one very greased up. Maybe a little bit more over here is needed. There we go. That one's really greased up. And then we're gonna wanna do the same here. So you'll see this sucker needs a bunch of grease as well. You guys remember all the grease that was jammed and mashed in here before? It was pretty gruesome. Well, we need it. Grease is necessary, but boy, this machine's gonna work a lot better now that we've got something fresh and clean in here. So just keep putting grease on here so that it is. We're gonna get more here. Okay, really coat it on thick. Very, very, very thick, okay? This just gets everything set up. So hopefully we don't have to do this again for a while, because taking these things apart is not, you know, it's not the simplest thing. But it's sure satisfying to be able to take it apart and then see what you've accomplished and know that you've done, rather than going and buying a new one, you've taken this magnificent piece of machinery that's meant to last for generations, and you breathe new life into it. And that's something you can and should be very proud of. Hey guys, all right, that concludes part 1 of our reassembly. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll finally get to plug the sucker in and hear it work.